not ready to make up our own rules yet. We got to learn what's already there. And then if we master everything, we can, become a rishi and start making our own rules. But those own rules shouldn't contradict rules that are already tried for thousands of years to be correct. So Varga arrangements. We can see that there's, if you look down the first column, there's the tree Varga, which is 1, 3, and 9. That's the Rashi, the Drekana, and the Navamsa. There's the Shad Varga, means 6, where we use the Rashi, Drekana, the 2, the Hora, the Navamsa, like this. The Sapta Varga, where we use the 7 divisions, and you can see which 7. The Dasha Varga, where we use these 10 charts. And then the Shodasha Varga, which means 16, where we use these 16 charts that are in the column number 2. So these are the different systems. Now, in the different systems, and depending on what we're doing the reading for, we'll use a different amount of charts. For example, if we use the Tree Varga system, which is for just a general prashna, someone asks a general question, and we're just going to answer it real quick. The Rashi chart is going to show what's happening right now. The person comes and says, I have a question. And if you get really good, they don't have to ask the question. You look at the chart and you say, you're having problems at work. And they say, yes. That you see from the Rashi. Now, the Navamsa, you look at the Navamsa in that case, and you'd say, and the Navamsa would show you the past. Well, you used to be really good at this, but something has changed there, and you can see what changed, and you used to have a relationship with your boss, yet you've split, and yet you still have the company together. You see that all from the Navamsa. And then what the situation is, you see from the Rashi, and then what's going to be the future, you'll see from the Drekana.
Which Drekana?
Parashara Drekana. Unless otherwise indicated.
This is of the prashna, not of the person.
That's only when we're doing prashna. The Drekana is not going to have the meaning of the future in a person's chart. If we're doing a chart. So it's changing the meaning when we do a Tree Varga system. Now, the Shad Varga system. This is for a traditional prashna, where it's not just a simple little question. The person comes for a whole reading. They want, a detailed reading based on a prashna. And in this case, the Rashi shows the father, the Hora chart shows the mother, the Drekana the brothers, the Navamsa relatives, Dwadadamsha children, and the Trimshamsha shows the wife. So we use it in this way. Very different, correct?
Yeah.
Sapta Varga is when we're doing Muhurta. So if you're looking for Muhurta for when you're going to go for a new job, the Varga charts are a lot different. And, Visti and Zoran were talking about Muhurta the other day, and they made sure that the Varga charts everything was well placed in the Varga charts for the Muhurta that they were doing. But that's using the chart in this system. Now, the two that we're going to be using the most, in general, that we've been learning, are the Dasha Varga and the Shodasha Varga, the 10 system and the 16 system. The 10 system is what's used for average people. And the 16 kings. We use the 16 division for people who are very powerful. People who have Raja Yoga, people who are influencing others. If it's just Joe Smo who's not affecting anyone else's life, then the 10 Vargas will be enough. We're not going to look at his last 7 generations to see how it's affecting. If we look at George Bush's chart, the last 7 generations is affecting the way each of us lives. George Bush's family's karma with the Middle East affects every single one of us. There was no war when Bill Clinton was in office. There was a war with the Middle East when his father was in office. If we follow back his other family members, there has to be karma with the oil and dealing with business in the Middle East. It's their family karma that's coming down. And that family karma is affecting the entire country. So the 16 Vargas are used for powerful people who are influencing others. In the same case, even if it's just the boss of a company who has 10 employees, if the boss is crazy, like my boss where I work right now, the way he makes plans, and sometimes I just scratch my head and I just say, okay, at least I'm getting paid by the hour, But he weighs so much, and so the boss directly affects like the lives of all the employees. And so again, we can be looking at the 16 Vargas in that case. But the more powerful and the more influential the person is, the more important it is to look at all 16 Vargas. If a person is just your average, that's with the 10 Varga system.
The priest of the temple.
So 16 Vargas is what Parashara teaches. And there's more than 16, but the system of 16 is what Parashara is teaching. What's so special about the number 16, Mary?
I forget. I know it's a Jupiter number, isn't it?
Jupiter. What about Jupiter? Where are the 2 times that it shows up with Jupiter?
Was Jupiter's number 8?
Well, Jupiter gets 16 years in Vimshotri.
16 years in Vimshotri. And 16 years, he gets those 16 years because the sun is 6 years and the moon is 10 years. And when you add the moon and the sun together, the guru of Vimshotri dasha is Jupiter. If you add the sun and the moon in a Shtotri dasha, you'll get the number of years of Venus, because the guru of a Shtotri dasha is Venus. And in each of these different charts, you'll see that something of that nature is happening. So the sun and the moon together gives us the number of Jupiter. What's the maturity of Jupiter? 16. So Jupiter is very much connected with 16. The moon has, in Tantra philosophy, has 16 kalas, 16 parts to get to its fullness. That 16 parts are the Nitya Devis, who are connected to the goddess Tripura Sundari to attain her fullness.
So she's a young girl going to...
She's 16 years old. She's entered the fullness of womanhood. She's become bountiful. She's become, in traditional Indian philosophy, Hindu philosophy, at 16 a girl is old enough to be married at that point.
Right.
She's physically capable of being a mother at that point. 16 is the number of this. It's a number of completeness. It's a number of maturity. It's a number of spiritual understanding. With the 16 Vargas, we get the well-rounded understanding of a human being. We understand all the different. It's the 16 places that we can put the magnifying glass to fully understand all these the major facets of a human being. And there's more Vargas. We'll talk about them if we have time at the end of class. But these 16 are the key ones. And to understand each of these 16 is considered the blessing of Tripura Sundari. So we're going to talk about 2 charts first. We don't need a break yet, do we?
No.
We'll do Navamsa and then we'll take a break. The first 2 charts we're going to talk about are the Navamsa and the Dashamsa. Who's the main karaka for the Navamsa? Venus, for marriage. For men and women?
No. Jupiter for women.
Anybody else agree with that?
I don't know about barn
Jupiter for
charts.
husband and
You
Venus
look
for
at
wife.
Varanasi, you look at Jupiter for women.
But what about for the Navamsa?
No, it's just Venus.
Yeah,
Otherwise
love.
you just said
It's
so.
just Venus. So, because Venus is the karaka of getting married and loving somebody. The Dashamsa, who's the Lord? Who's the karaka?
The sun?
Primary karaka.
This says Mercury.
Sun is also a karaka.
Saturn?
And Saturn and Jupiter.
Almost all.
But who's the primary karaka of career?
Mercury?
Mercury. Mercury's your skills, the businessman, the actual monetary earning and what you do to make money. It's primarily the signification of Mercury. So we're going to focus primarily on those two charts first and the most in depth, because those are the charts that you look at the most when you do readings. I promise you. You'll see them the most. Why?
Because people want to get married, or
They're the
worry about the career?
they're the karakas. The karakas of those houses are the two rajas planets. They're the two things that the mind is running around. Oh, love life. What am I? Oh, my job, money. So those two areas, they're the two rajas areas, and they're the two things that make the mind run around and worry the most.
Well, Freud said it, love and work.
Love and work, yeah.
These are the two main things that human beings come to therapy for. That's what he said.
And astrology.
He actually had a book he wrote about it.
Huh. Interesting.
Love and work, he called it.
Interesting. But yeah, so we focus on them because they're the two Rajasic planets. And they're the two things that people worry about the most and will ask questions about the most. So they're the two that we have to understand the deepest, because we have to, you use them the most. So navamsa, next page. Soul, skills, and love. And now navamsa,